you know, when we talk about the kind of the future and aspirations, there is a huge population of people on the planet who don't have access to good learning. And there's those populations even exist within the state that we're in at the moment and the state that I live in, where people do not have access to good quality learning because they can't get the experts or the great facilitators or whatever into their spaces, into their rooms. It seems to me that we've arrived at a point where the technologies and the modalities and the approaches that we and others are talking about, where we should be addressing those issues as well. If we as a society are going to pick ourselves up, as we as part of a global community are going to do something about picking ourselves up, we have the opportunity now to reach out to those people. So the poorest person in the most remote location, they do need to have some ability, some bandwidth maybe to get there, which could be quite small in some cases. How do we get that person who could be the future Einstein with the right development, develop the confidence, the knowledge, the connections to become that future Einstein? And it strikes me that, that's another area as we look to the future that I think we should be exploring with some of our conversations as we create these networks. And that's one of the things that I got to play with fairly recently as an idea as to how that could happen in a state by leveraging these things. And I must say, I just got quite excited about that. So for me, you know, we've talked about, you know, working with big universities across the planet. We've talked about corporations and governments and such things, and how we can work with all those places and organizations to bring them together and help them be more effective and more aware in what they're doing. But there's this other role as well, I think, that we can play a part in. And that all those different players could play a part as well with their same resources. I remember coming across, and it was when I was at Duke University, the first TelePresence unit I had was at the Fuqua School of Business. And I had the privilege to meet the person who was the CEO of the company that brought that about before the Ciscos and the Polycoms and the like came into play. And he always said that what he hoped this technology would do would become kind of like 1,000 points of light that Rhodes talked about, but for those other people that couldn't access it. So when the big guys weren't using it and it was switched off, couldn't school kids use it? You know, to bring people together across the planet to create a better world. That's the other side of what we haven't talked about so much that I think is also interesting.